if the Raptors are to keep their winning ways going, looking to make it 4 straight wins, they have to depend on the
Davis. Davis right now 4th in the NBA in rebounding. Mark Jackson second in assists. And Oakley, he's just the glue to this team. Every night he's assigned to guard the best scorer on the front line of the opponent. He leads by example in practice, diving on the floor, and he's not afraid to take a young superstar under his wing and give him some advice.
Yes. And with Vince Carter sidelined by injury, Lenny Wilkins going with yet another veteran in the starting lineup tonight. Del Curry makes his first start of the season. Both clubs are getting ready. We're getting ready for the first of our twin bill here on TBS. Raptors and Mavericks coming up. We'll take a break in a moment. Back to the studio for Ernie Johnson.
NBA title last June. We welcome you to Studio A here in Atlanta. I'm Ernie Johnson. Kenny Smith and Peter Vesey will be here at half.
Dallas rebounding the basketball. They don't have a regular guy, particularly with Gary Trent out right now. Not that he's a great rebounder, but he's a big presence down inside.
Here's Dirk Nowitzki working hard against Charles Oakley. Nowitzki goes 7 foot, 245 pounds. Don Nelson said he's still growing. And a traveling violation is called by Bill Spooner. The official, Joe Forte, Bill Spooner, Rodney Mott.
We've seen Toronto come down and twice in a row, try to run the ball down to the low box, post the ball up against Dallas.
Here's Steve Nash, who's been playing well, rebounded by Antonio Davis. And we'd like to welcome our viewers watching tonight on TSN in Canada. Offensive foul. Charles Oakley called for the foul.
In transition, Oakley caught the smaller Michael Finley on his back. Oakley calling for the ball, used the left arm to push away, calling with the right one for the ball.
Gilbert Davis, who has been on fire. Christian Laettner. Laettner not able to get going, although his last 2 out of 3 games have shown some signs. Struggled in the offense. He's averaging only 15 minutes per game. Antonio Davis. Raptors with a 4-0 lead.
Dallas rushed the ball right back. They would like to get this thing into an up-and-down game all night. They know they can score points. They know they shoot well. Toronto has to be selective in the pace they play.
Finley not able to convert on the tip. Here's Davis off the look-away. Beautiful pass from Jackson. And the Raptors have a 6-0 lead. Raptors also got back well on the transition.
Veteran point guard, when your coach tells you control the tempo and knows when to slow it down and when to take advantage of numbers. This time, Mark Jackson felt the trailer on his left shoulder. He winds up feeding Antonio for the 2 points.
Laettner called for a palming violation. So a slow start by the Mavericks, missing their first 5 shots plus a turnover.
Notice the ability of all 5 players on Dallas to put the basketball on the floor from the perimeter and take it to the basket, trying to draw fouls or create shots for other players.
Del Curry rebounded by Steve Nash, and again looking to push it. Nowitzki for 3.
Very fortunate. Oakley couldn't get to Nowitzki. He pointed to Antonio Davis to go out and get Nowitzki, but Davis all the way under the rim. Wide open shot.
Davis working on Laettner. Gilbert Davis over to help out. Nice play. Jackson for Williamson. Rebounded by Nowitzki. Nowitzki handling. Looks to it. Now he pitches out. Laettner from straight away. Oh, they can't find one. The Mavericks 0 for 7 from the field.
These are wide open shots, too. There really haven't been any poor shots here by Dallas. As I mentioned, this is a good shooting team, so they'll eventually drop 4.
Davis. Antonio Davis with a nice move off the dribble. Toronto 8, Mavericks nothing. Antonio Davis 3 of 3 from the field. Nash. Nice pass. Leitner can't put it down.
Leitner trying to draw the contact, hoping for a three-point opportunity. Instead, misses the layup and gets zipped.
Oakley for three. Jackson able to get to it. It has been all Toronto. Here at the start, we played 4 minutes. Nice play by Nash to break it up.
And they tried to force the ball into the low post because Nash was fronting, Williamson, with too much help that time by the offside defense.
Michael Finley off the dribble. Michael Finley not able to hit. And the Mavericks are now 0 for 9 from the field. Jackson in the crowd try to give it up. And last touch by the Raptors.
Mark Jackson that time a little bit out of control, got himself too deep, nowhere to go. That's one of those times where you make the decision to pull it back out and run something in the half court.
Quick start by Toronto, playing without Vince Carter, who has never before missed a game, be it high school, college, or his 2+ seasons in the NBA. 145 consecutive games in a Raptors uniform, a franchise record, but sitting out tonight and will sit out tomorrow night in Charlotte. Foul called on Corliss Williamson.
As Lenny Wilkins mentioned to us, he did not want to miss this game. He had his bags packed, he was ready to go, but the doctors, trainers said, we've got to make sure that this thing doesn't get worse and do any more damage to it. So they wound up unpacking his bags for him.
Yeah, they hope he's ready for the West Coast trip. Here's Nash, nice pass, and Finley with the first bucket of the night for Dallas.
Well, Finley figured if I put my whole hand and arm inside the rim and bottom of the net, it's going to go in finally.
Dallas missing its first 9. Michael Finley with the stop. Timeout taken. 7:08 remaining. In this first quarter, 22nd timeout has been called. Raptors have an 8-2 lead on the Mavericks. And we'll take a look at tonight's stat track.
A couple areas. When Steve Nash scores 15 points or more, Don Nelson feels that this elevates his team to a new level. You're going to get 8 to 10 assists out of Nash, but it's the nights that he scores 15 or more that they wind up being a much better team. The other thing, Dallas can shoot the basketball. Nelson knows that. He said, when we make shots, we win a lot of basketball games. So let's watch Nash as he goes along. Sometimes you have to kind of probe him a little bit to get him to shoot the basketball rather than just looking to set everybody else up. Got to be a little bit selfish at times in this league.
Don Nelson saying that he had been too unselfish, particularly last year. In fact, at one point he was booed here in Dallas. Had the ankle problem, sat out 25 games. There's Sean Bradley getting set to check in. Steve Nash, captain of the Canadian national team at the Summer Olympics in Sydney, and played exceptionally well going up against his home country ball club of the Toronto Raptors. Another opportunity here for the Raptors. Williamson takes advantage. It's a 10-2 lead for Toronto. And this is Nash on the pull-up. Rebounded by Davis. Corliss Williamson getting the good position.
Corliss Williamson asserting himself, something Lenny Wilkins has asked him to do. Make yourself a player that they have to respect. Go after it.
Nowitzki. Dallas now 2 of 12 from the field. Dirk Nowitzki has come a long way after struggling in his rookie year last year, a breakout season. He averaged 17.5. He shot 46%, and he's even added to that in the early going this season.
Well, he knows that this is not a good, as Del Curry turns, faces and hits the jumper, and he can light it up quick, Del Curry. Once he gets it going, you can expect 3, 4 in a row if he's on. But going back, he knows Nowitzki that this team needs rebounding. So what he's done is he's sacrificed other parts to get rebounding.
Beautiful move by Hubert Davis. Hubert off the dribble, but Dallas does not get back, and Corliss Williamson serving up a facial.
You wouldn't expect Toronto to try and run the ball back at you after you score, but you see the veteran team smart. One player out in front, the ball gets up the floor, they pick up an easy basket.
Raptors with a 14-6 lead. Charles Oakley switching off on Hubert Davis. Here's Christian Leitner, off balance and able to hit his first field goal. Look out, Nash nearly picked it off. Here's Curry for three. Wide open basketball. Loose ball foul against Toronto. It's on Antonio Davis. Timeout has been called. 5:03 to go in this first quarter. Raptors have a 6-point lead.
In order for everybody to understand what that means, we're going to have to step up and play more as a team, especially on the offensive end. We just be patient, run through our plays, make sure that we make them defend, get a good shot up, and rebound the basketball will be the key.
So Vince Carter sitting it out with that strained left quad. They call it jumper's knee, a common sight after games. Players walking around with those huge ice packs bandaged around the knees to help stem the symptoms of jumper's knee. Vince also took a shot in the game against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden on Saturday from Kurt Thomas. Took a pretty good blow in the ribs, so it's been a tough physical weekend for Vince Carter.
I had ice on my knee this afternoon.
Yeah, I noticed that. And we were wondering why.
Jumper's knee. I see.
Bradley with the long hook. Raptors have a 14-8 lead, just under 5 left in this first quarter. Jackson and Curry in the backcourt. Oakley with Davis and Williamson up front. Starting lineup still on the floor for Lenny Wilkins. Oakley for Davis. Well, the Raptors taking advantage of the mismatch.
Lenny Wilkins really liked that because what Toronto did that time was basically pick the defensive part. They forced a mismatch on a rotation. They found the open seam. They 2-on-1 the back line, and then a nice pass by Oakley.
There's Nash. I don't think Lenny Wilkins liked that defensively. Nice move, though, by Nash. 16-10, Toronto. And as Curry tried to set up for the jumper, a moving pick called on Antonio Davis.
Oakley faces up, sees the offside of the floor. There's a 2-on-1 situation here. Davis takes the seam. You leave Nowitzki trying to block out Williamson, and then the dunk to finish.
Michael Finley. And on the switch, Sean Bradley. Well, Bradley has missed a couple of hooks. One from long range along the baseline. Good play by Nowitzki, battling to deflect it out.
Well, he's not just standing behind and conceding the post pass. He's working to come around, try to keep the ball out of Williamson's hands or deflect as he did the last time.
First of 2 meetings this season between the Mavericks and the Raptors. Paulus Williamson again taking it to the rim. They split their 2 games last year. The Raptors winning here, the Mavericks winning in Toronto. Raptors now up 18-10. Dallas missed their first 9 field goal attempts. Here's Finley. Yes, Michael Finley, who has really lifted his game last year. Played on his first All-Star game. Led the NBA in minutes played. Averaged 42 per game and was among the scoring leaders, 22 points per game. Antonio Davis bottled up and blocked by the NBA's leading shot blocker, Sean Bradley. Here's Finley, yes. Michael Finley heating up, and the Raptor lead is 4. Michael Finley got off to a slow start, has come on recently. 3 of 5, 6 points for Finley in this opening quarter. Curry, led by Oakley, to the trailer. It counts. And the foul. Mark Jackson with what he likes to call his teardrop shot and draws the foul.
You don't expect to see Curry create for teammates off the dribble. You saw it that time. He drives, dishes. Jackson with the finish on the teardrop. Finley with the ball is going to play high pick and roll with Sean Bradley, who is supposed to set the screen up high. You have Davis, the defensive player, playing Bradley, communicating to Williamson which way he wants the ball to go. He's saying to bring Finley to his right hand, and he's going to jump out and give him help on that side. Well, the problem is Williamson doesn't bring him to the right hand. Davis goes that way. Finley goes the opposite way. It's 2 off the jumper.
And a good sign for Toronto. They have 9 assists on their 10 baskets. Mavericks, as you see, opened up 0 for 9, and they have come on since then. Mark Jackson with 5 assists in this first quarter. Second to Jason Kidd in that department, averaging better than 10 per game, and completes the three-point play. Raptors 21, Mavericks 14 with 2:15 left. In this first quarter, Marv Albert with Bizarre, Mike Fratello, Cheryl Miller from Reunion Arena in Dallas, Texas. Nice fake by Finley.
Tom Nelson has run that series for years. Back in Milwaukee, that was an old Sidney Moncrief play. Putting the guy in the corner of the foul line, hit and cut around, give that guy a one-on-one opportunity right from the elbow area. That time it was for Finley.
Here's Curry. Sidney Moncrief, one of the 8 assistant coaches.
How many?
We keep counting them after every timeout. Here's Nash. Kicks it out. Finley. Yes. Michael Finley catching fire. 21-16 Toronto. And Finley has 8 points. Del Torre. And here comes Nash. Raptors get back. Oh, he had Nowitzki wide open. Did not see him. Now Davis finds Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki. Rebounded by Oakley. Jackson pushing it. Here's Oakley. Charles Oakley went through a period missing 19 of 20. Most of them were perimeter shots, and then broke out, hit 4 jumpers in a row, including 2 from downtown Saturday against the Knicks in New York.
And Lenny Wilkins, you know, the veteran coach that he is, even though he was shooting poorly, as you see a jumper by Steve Nash, even though Oakley was shooting poorly, he said, you know, the mechanics look good. One suggestion, maybe take a dribble or step into the shot a little bit more. We just saw him on that last jumper he made. Take it and step in on the shot, and he made it. So a little bit of advice from the veteran coach to kind of straighten it out.
Jackson. And the teams have to honor the outside shot of Charles Oakley. The 4 jumpers killed the Knicks in the game on Saturday, which Charles enjoyed immensely. Nash with a wild shot. Steve Nash to the reverse.
Del Curry has to do a little bit better job of keeping the ball out of the middle of the floor. He must contain the basketball, not let it get down the lane that easy.
23-20, Toronto. Jackson's pass, battled away, recovered. Time has run out in this first quarter. Mavericks missed their first 9 and then came roaring back, led by Michael Finley with 8 points. Steve Nash, 6 points, 3 assists. You see the numbers on Mark Jackson, 6 assists in the first. The high men for Toronto, Antonio Davis, Corliss Williamson, each with 8. 3-point. Beautiful night downtown Dallas. And this is the final season for the Mavericks at Reunion. The new arena, the American Airlines Center, scheduled to open next season, will also be the home of the Dallas Stars of the National Hockey League. This close to a sellout crowd. Capacity here is straight over 18,000. 23-20 as the second quarter gets underway. Steve Nash cuts it to a 1-point lead. So Toronto up by 1.
See the versatility in Dallas at the offensive end. We've seen Hubert Davis bring the ball down, Nash bring it down, Finley bring it down, even Nowitzki a couple times bring the ball down. So they change up, give you different looks.
Kevin Willis has come on for the first time for the Raptors. Shot clock down to 4. Here's Corliss Williamson getting it over the 7'6" Sean Bradley.
That was some shot. I mean, he did not hesitate, elevated, shot the thing high above the outstretched arm of Bradley.
Finley is on fire. 10 points on 5 of 8 shooting.
Yeah, Williamson a little too concerned that he's going to get beaten off the dribble, so he's giving him that extra step, and all Finley's doing is elevating and shooting over the top right now. The guy gets on fire like that, you've got to make him change up, make him put the ball on the floor, get help from your teammates.
And Kevin Willis hit on the reach-in. Toronto now has Willis up front with Oakley. And Williams and Jackson in the backcourt with Williams. Alvin Williams has checked in for the first time. Foul on Bradley, his second. And Kevin Willis, who was a major factor in the first of the 3 straight wins. Toronto bouncing back from that blowout at home against Charlotte by defeating the Pacers in Indianapolis on Thanksgiving night. And coming up next on the Superstation, it's the Pacers and the Lakers. Lakers have won 4 in a row. So, 2 teams that met in the NBA Finals last June, meeting for the first time this season out at Staples in Los Angeles.
Kevin Willis is a guy who commands double teams. Once he gets it going down low, that little jump hook of his, he has turning to his left shoulder. And with Del Curry just rounding into shape, it's a nice thing to have one more man that they might have to double team. Swing the ball around a little bit, find the open shooter.
Nowitzki lost it, recovered by Bradley. Dirk saying, I'll take the assist. 27-26 Toronto. Here's the trap on Jackson, and it pays off. Nash able to break it up. Nowitzki for Finley. Finley with the jumper. And rebounded by Nash. Nowitzki shooting. Yes! A 3 for Nowitzki, and Dallas has the lead for the first time.
Some of those hustle points you get that time. Nash got inside Mark Jackson on the glass, picked off the offensive rebound. They wind up with 3 as a result.
Nash again off the board. And again they run it. Nowitzki fires. Finley keeps it alive. Here's Nash open for 3. An 8-0 run by the Mavericks. They lead 42-27, and the Raptors will talk it over.
Remember, Dallas is the 3rd best three-point shooting team in the NBA. Almost 40% from behind the three-point line, so you've got to go out and play them. And they take them each night, too. Over 16 attempts per night.
1 quarter. And then proceeded to score 4 points in the second quarter. Outscored 29-4. Paul Pierce with the 3-pointer there. 49-31 at the half. 4 points in the third period, or in the second period for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I know there's a line in there somewhere about Mike Fratello's days in Cleveland, but I would never touch that. Back to Marvin.
Once again, after these words. And he's, just trying to turn things on here.
Well, this is typical Ernie fashion. Beginning of the game, he jumps out, makes bold statements, and then by the end, he'll be apologizing, saying he didn't mean it. It was somebody else, put it in his ear or something good.
Bold statement.
Bold. Yes, very bold.
2.5 gone by on the second. 8-0 run for the Mavericks within 54 seconds to lead by 5. Mark Jackson coming up short. Lloyd Hawk has come on for the first time. Here's Nash again. Steve Nash missed his first 3 shots. He's hit his last 6. 13 points for Nash, and the Mavs lead by 7. Jackson for 3. Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson is walking a fine line with himself right now, saying, maybe I'm taking too many shots, a couple of shots that he forced, yet at the same time, he's got some opportunities as we see Howard Isaac drive, turn the corner with the layup. So somebody's going to pick up the scoring slack, but you cannot force shots with this team because you get him in that up-tempo game, get the crowd involved, and you have a problem then.
Howard Isley checking in a moment ago with Lloyd Vaughn. They double up on Willis. Alvin Williams. And an offensive foul called on Kevin Willis. So the Raptors with their 7th turnover. Dallas with just 1. Antonio Davis returning, replacing Charles Oakley. He'll lead with a bucket for 2. There's Isley. No hesitation with the Mavericks. They get the ball up quickly. Willis played by Vaught. Vaught coming off a good game against Denver on Saturday, but Kevin Willis able to hit over Loy Vaught. Dallas Mavericks 9-5. They beat Denver here at home on Saturday by 24 points. It's their second best start in franchise history. Back in 88-89, they opened up at 9-3. A lot of excitement for the Mavericks here in Dallas. Jackson. Nowitzki with the rebound. Dallas not a good rebounding team, and Nowitzki has stepped it up, trying to help out. Foul is called a reach-in. And foul on Davis.
We had said earlier that if Nash scores 15 or more, this is a different team. Well, we see him take it to the basket and somehow create a shot off the dribble. Then a little jumper in between. Already, he has 10 field goal attempts in this game and 13 points with 7.5 minutes to go before halftime. So Nash is certainly on his way to doing what Don Nelson told us would elevate this team to a different level.
Charles Oakley is back. Mark Jackson sitting down. There's Mark Cuban, the extremely, let's say, passionate owner of the Dallas Mavericks, who from time to time likes to make his way upstairs, spending time with the fans in the cheaper seats.
And he just said to the young lady who was signing shirts, and when play resumed, basically said, "Can you wait until there's a stoppage in play? I'd like to watch the game, and then I'll sign the rest."
Oh, he's very busy. Howard Beasley put on the line. It's a 6-point lead for Dallas. Mark Cuban picking up 3 fines in the span of 8 days recently that totaled $45,000, all for some abusive and very critical statements directed at NBA officials.
But he said no more. He's done. He won't be fined anymore. I think he feels he straightened it out. Well, the problem is we straightened it out, and that's it.
On the other hand, he has done a terrific job here in Dallas. Certainly it helps to win ball games, but this franchise has been revitalized.
Well, he's a pretty good player himself. He was a participant in Michael Jordan's fantasy camp this past summer. Came in, was drafted by Chuck Daly, high pick in the camp by Chuck Daly.
Were you there as a player or a coach? You mentioned you were icing knees earlier. Illegal defense called for the first time.
I was Mike Krzyzewski's assistant coach on that team, because Mike kind of ran the show. He let me say hello and goodbye to the team that 4-day period.
Here's Finley. Finley getting it up over the combination of Oakley and Williams. 40-34. Mavericks on top. Alvin Williams now running the team at the point. In the backcourt with Del Curry, Kevin Willis, Charles Oakley up front along with the rookie, Morris Peterson, who missed the shot. Off the save, a dangerous save, and it's deflected out of bounds. Last touch by Peterson.
They try to post Finley down low. He winds up a little bit wider than he wanted to, but because the defense gambled and missed the steal, he winds up with the 2 points.
Isley and Hubert Davis in the backcourt. Vaught is up front with Nowitzki, and Finley has double coverage on Finley, who beats defenders.
Well, you see Don Nelson goes right at the rookie in the low post, and that time they were sending Kevin Willis over Toronto to double team and give help. He just went around Willis and then in for the score.
14 for Finley. The Mavericks have their biggest lead. Remember, this is a club that missed its first 9 shots. Toronto calls for time.
Reunion Arena, and take a look at some of the wonderful upgrades that the Mavs owners Mark Cuban has provided for the players in their locker room. You see the television, you see the VCR. Some of the players' stalls include a DVD player, a Sony PlayStation, just to name a few things. And Marv, very quickly, and Czar is probably the only one that can really appreciate this because of his impeccable taste for fine linen. And nothing worse, Czar, as you well know, getting out of the shower and having to towel down with a $2 towel. Well, Mark Cuban made sure that the players receive this. This is Egyptian cotton. This is the good stuff, and this has been reported. There was a rumor that Shaquille O'Neal was seen in Hawaii in the off-season wearing this Egyptian cotton.
Cheryl, would you do me a favor? Grab a couple, put them in a bag, and bring them back to the hotel.
It's similar to what the czar does after he leaves hotels as he tours the country.
Terrible.
That's the only man who's being searched on a regular basis on the way out.
Do they go off when you go through the detector at the airport?
Yeah, right. You could very comfortably live in a locker here, in the home locker room, for several days. 8-point lead for Dallas with 5 minutes remaining in the first half. And after the bad start, Mavericks missing their first 9 shots, they went 20 of 29 from the field. 10 of 14 here in the second quarter. Nowitzki open. And Curry has Williams 3-on-2 for the Raptors. However, the Mavericks got back.
Good job of transition defense that time. Find that open shooter, Curry, and Finley got to him quickly on the swing back out.
Oakley held by Hubert Davis. Davis getting caught in the mismatch with his one-time New York Knicks teammate.
You had 2 decisions going on there. Do you post up Oakley against Davis? At the same time, you had Nowitzki who had switched out on Alvin Williams, so they didn't know whether to clear the side, let Williams go by Nowitzki, or get it in the post to Oakley.
Willis played by Vaught. Here's Curry, draws the foul. The hack called on Isley.
Curry just 1 for 5 right now in the game, but he's taking a lot of shots with a hand in his face. He gives you that little up fake and then tries to shoot it up over the top because he's got pretty good size for his position. But to Dallas's credit, they've been right there with a hand challenging the shot. That time he drew a little contact.
Del Curry, 36 years old, in his 15th NBA season out of Virginia Tech. In his prime, one of the game's premier pure shooters. He is still Charlotte's all-time leading scorer. He has struggled this year, though, back from a sprained calf muscle. He missed the entire preseason and trying to shoot his way back into it.
And Lenny Wilkins said they had him doing extra work on the bike to try and get that condition back to the level we need.
Now Finley played by Oakley, but given the room, Michael Finley with 16.
That outside handoff play again, the same one we told you. Put a player at the corner of the foul line, the elbow area, and when they hit and come around, that time Toronto switched, mismatch Finley felt in his favor, shoots the jumper versus his opponent.
Finley is 8 of 12. Oakley, most unusual move for Charles Oakley. Usually does not do it off the dribble.
To show you the versatility in his game, that not only can he shoot jumpers, but he can take it off the dribble.
That pass misfired, intended for Finley. Now Willis posting and hand checked by Vaughn.
Morris Peterson, the rookie that time. Kevin Willis calling for the ball in low post. Peterson giving him a bad pass to the post. Passes are very important to the post. Those big guys are fighting each other down there. It's not easy to receive it with someone leaning on you or trying to come around. Peterson's kind of lofted it up there like, hey, Kevin, go get it. It's not that easy. You have to make a good post pass so he can make a post move.
Peterson replaced by Williamson. Now Oakley posting. Oh, Charles with the fake. And that sent Finley to the floor.
Well, remember, Finley picked up an offensive foul early in the game against Oakley.
Here's Howard Isley. And Kevin Willis on the rebound. Foul is on Finley. Looking for the steal.
Kevin Willis is, I would say, fired up right now. He is upset at a foul called against him earlier, an offensive foul, and they're being physical with him, which you have to do against Kevin, but Kevin's kind of elevated his intensity in this game.
So the Mavericks over the foul limit. Alvin Williams at the line. Friday on the Superstation. An 11-year-old boy watching his favorite action film character suddenly finds himself inside the movies as the detective's height-sized partner. Arnold Schwarzenegger stars in The Last Action Hero. That's this Friday, 8:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Steve Nash checking back in. Howard Isley sits down. And the crowd reacts as the rookie from Oklahoma, Eduardo Nahara, who has been a very exciting player Finley again. Nahara, hard-nosed, hustling player, gets the crowd going. They love to see him on the floor. 46-40, Dallas. Curry for three. Effortless shot by Del Curry.
The ball's just about touching his hand, and it's out of his hand. That's how quick the release is as Dallas comes right back, and there's Nahara. He's a second-effort hustle guy. He's a guy who really helped himself in the Chicago pre-draft camp with a lot of the coaches and GMs this past summer. And Don Nelson loved him. He came in and played very well in training camp during the exhibition season.
Williamson took advantage. Nahara had his head turned the other way. And Carlos Williamson brings the Raptors within one.
He was trying to sneak around and steal the ball on the perimeter and forgot about his guy going to the basket.
Oh, Finley feeling it. Not this time, hit the top of the backboard. So the ball will go to the Raptors, but first timeout taken. 2 minutes, 3 seconds remaining in the half. It's Dallas by 1. Points in all.
Well, it looked like they might have a problem scoring. Finley finally broke the 8-0 run by Toronto with the dunk, and then his ability to catch, put it on the floor. Here he beats 2 defenders for the finish. Complement that with his outside game going on right now, and Michael Finley is showing Toronto the complete package.
And over the last 5 minutes, Finley, the only Maverick to score, he's already reached his season average. Dallas Mavericks come off a win at home over Denver by 24. They've won 4 of the last 5, hoping to make the playoffs for the first time since back in the 89-90 series. That's season. That's the longest drought in the NBA. They've gone 10 years without a playoff appearance. Shot clock at 4. Williams forcing. Williams landing on the floor hard. Here's Finley with a series of moves. Not able to hit, but Nahara is right there. Eduardo Nahara, second-round draft pick out of Oklahoma. Was born in Mexico, grew up in San Antonio, only the second Mexican to play in the NBA. Kevin Willis way off, and Charles Oakley is fouled by Nahara.
Well, Kevin Willis that time kind of lost a little bit of trust in his teammates. He had the double team coming because of the last time when he passed out of the double team. The opportunity was there exactly all over again. If he's going to try and split double teams or take bad shots, it's not going to work out for Toronto. You got to stay with it, stay in the belief of passing to your open teammates.
Oakley to the line with 1:11 remaining in this first half. Toronto 7 of 7 at the line. The Mavs have not gone to the line. Charles Oakley 7 rebounds, 4 assists, along with his 4 points. Well, coming up on the AT&T halftime report, Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, Peter Vesey with scores from around the league, and Peter goes behind the screen for more on the Sonics firing of Paul Westphal. Nate McMillan taking over, and will make his head coaching debut tonight as the Sonics play the Trailblazers in Portland.
You mentioned that Dallas hasn't shot a free throw yet. They're just 24th in the league in free throw attempts. They only take about 23 free throw attempts per game, whereas Toronto takes almost 29 per game, which puts them at number 7 in the league.
Dallas up by 1. There's ball. And Oakley on the box out is fouled. This ball foul. Nahara, so Oakley will head back to the line. While we have an opportunity, we'd like to send out our best wishes for a speedy recovery to Dallas Mavericks television play-by-play announcer Jim Durham, who underwent triple bypass surgery. Outstanding broadcaster and a terrific guy. We wish Jim the very best. Charles Oakley at the line. You understand that Jim was on the Mavericks 6-game road trip about a week ago, but flew back home.
Another person from the NBA, Pete Carroll, the assistant coach with Sacramento, also undergoing some surgery. Pete had a slight heart attack during the playoffs last year. And guess they're going back in there and trying to also, I guess, want to go bypass surgery.
I wish Pete the very best. Game tied at 48. Raptors have a foul to give. Out of 40 seconds remaining in this first half. Nash working the clock down. Now to 3 on the 24. Nash with a beautiful setup. Mahara giving Dallas a 2-point lead.
Of course, Lloyd Vaught is new basically to what's going on. Don Nelson was waving to Vaught to cross the lane, get on the other side of the lane so that Nash could drive right and kick to Davis left. Instead, he ran up and set a high screen, but it worked out okay.
Shot clock at 5. Curry to the fadeaway. And here comes Nash, 3-on-1. And foul from behind by Williams. That's the foul to give. So 7 seconds remaining in the first half. That turns out to be an effective foul. It was a 3-on-1 fast break.
Great hustle play that time by Alvin Williams. He saved what looked like a sure basket. 3-on-1 coming down against Charles Oakley.
All right, final seconds of the half. Hubert Davis from way downtown. 2 and 4/10 seconds to go. Here's Paulus Williamson. He fires at the buzzer.
Mistake that time by Del Curry. He left a great three-point shooter alone just to run back towards the basketball. He knew it almost as soon as he took the first step, too far away to get back and challenge Hubert Davis on the 3.
Good first half. Dallas 53, Toronto 48. The Mavericks led by Michael Finley with 18 points. Let's go to Cheryl and Michael.
Michael, you guys missed the first 9 shots, but once you settled down, it looked like offensively you guys got into a nice flow.
Yeah, I think we got a little excited. I mean, a national televised game, we've been putting it down a little bit, but we was excited, and it showed in the easy shots we missed.
It looked like Toronto in the second quarter really tried to get the ball down low, punish you on the inside. Is that going to be something that you guys try to make an adjustment in the second half?
Yeah, we had to stop them doing that. That's their strength right now with Carter out. So we have to make their inside catches and scoring a lot tougher in the second half.
Thanks a lot, Michael. Good luck in the second half. Let's go back to you. Mark?
All right, thank you, Cheryl. Michael Finley leading the way, 18 points, 9 of 15 from the field. Dallas shooting 60%.
Exactly, Ernie. Sources tell me, Isaiah Thomas, that Jermaine O'Neal did not make that charter flight. He was a half hour late. They wait for nobody unless maybe Reggie Miller, and they left without him. And this was the first problem that they've had with Jermaine. He will not be starting tonight. So Isaiah is going with this lineup: Crozier at center, Jalen Rose at power forward, Bender at small forward, Miller at guard, shooting guard, and Travis Best at point guard. And they are going to turn it into a summer league game. And who is Shaq going to guard?
Right.
And who is Horace Grant going to guard?
But you know what? You know what Isaiah just did? He penalized himself and the other teammates, because if that wasn't a habitual thing with Jermaine O'Neal, you don't have to take him out of the lineup. You say, okay, first time you got left, learn your lesson. Let's keep moving on.
I think as a young guy, I think you do have to underline it. You know,
you're penalizing yourself. You're not penalizing him for not starting.
Well, he'll play. He'll play, and it's going to be very difficult for the Lakers to guard until Shaq goes into the pivot. And how do they guard him?
Shaq? Exactly.
Right. It's like fighting Tyson, you know, and then he takes that first shot at you. Great game plan.
Yes, sir. It remains to be seen how Jermaine O'Neal will play tonight. We'll have to factor in the flying commercial factor into there. Never underestimate that. Back with more on the AT&T Halftime Report in just a second. Corliss Williamson taking it to the rack, but his guys are down by a handful.
Line! One hold. If he feeds here and drifts to the elbow, we're going. If he goes through, you go through. We come from the nail on catch. Okay? Come on, don't lead him. You can't help on that. That's a blue.
That kind of makes you miss working the sidelines, I would think.
Well, a lot of knowledge being passed along there to these two outstanding coaches. For Don Nelson, he's approaching 1,700 regular season games. He has 935 wins going into tonight's game, which places him number 6 on the win list. And for Lenny Wilkins, this is almost 2,200 games that he's coached in regular season. He's all-time number 1 with 1,187 wins. Just two of the best ever.
And it's Dallas ball as the second half gets underway. Nowitzki finding Finley. Michael Finley with 20 points. Mavericks opened the game missing their first 9 shots. They were down 8-0. And then they came roaring back with a 33-point second quarter. Hubert Davis in the backcourt with Steve Nash. Christian Leitner starting at center. Michael Finley, Dirk Nowitzki are at the forward position. And Leitner fumbles, recovers, and throws up the air ball.
And that's typical Charles Oakley defensive play. Get a hand in there, strip the ball. Very similar to Karl Malone, his ability to get a shot before it gets up there.
Antonio Davis with the field goal, and he is fouled. Antonio Davis with 10 points. The foul committed by Dirk Nowitzki.
You know, with Vince Carter out, Lenny Wilkins goes into the game, figures who's going to be someone else to step up and score. Antonio Davis was one of those guys he was counting on. He was 4 for 5 in the first half, but because of the 3 personal fouls, only played 11 total minutes.
Raptors shot 46% from the field in the first half. Hubert Davis from deep. And Antonio Davis with the rebound. Toronto had the edge 23-20 off the boards in the first half. Paulus Williamson. Paulus doesn't usually look to shoot from that range. Last touch, though, by the Mavericks.
I mentioned a moment ago that Toronto is going to look to find those other guys to score. During the regular season, Carter, 27.5 points per game. The next guy in double figures is Antonio Davis. Otherwise, everybody else is below double figures, so they missed that McGrady, Doug Christie group that added a lot of points a year ago.
Offensive foul on Williamson. Yes, this is a Raptor team that is constantly searching for that second score.
Trying to drive baseline. Nowitzki does a good job moving his feet, getting in front. Offensive foul pickup.
And tonight, without Vince Carter, with Carter sideline, they are looking for a first and a second score. Able to hang in against the Mavericks, though. 2 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Shot clock down to 4. Nowitzki with room. Raptors have won 3 in a row. Able to bounce back from the bad performance against Charlotte at home. That was last Monday. They were blown out by some 36 points. Del Curry using the glass to bring Toronto within 3.
Well, they played Hubert Davis against Mark Jackson because Mark Jackson likes to go down the low post area against smaller guards. But that time, Toronto took Curry, put him in the post, and he scored.
We are seeing an unusual number of open shots at both ends of the court.
I'm not sure it's supposed to be that way as far as these two coaches are concerned.
John Nelson in his 4th year with the Mavericks, 23rd as an NBA head coach. Williamson, and he's fouled by Leitner.
Number 32, Christian Leitner, his first.
When the ball goes down the low post, Hubert Davis, who is right here, is going to come in and dig. They've been digging the whole game from the ball side. Toronto must clear Mark Jackson across this midpoint in the circle here. This area is called the midpoint. If he moves over, Davis has to go or double team hard. By leaving Jackson on that side of the floor, you see him bothering the post-up guy.
And actually, that deflected pass cost Dallas, and it led to Williamson going to the line. He missed the first, hit the second. And it's a 55-53 Dallas lead.
When I said Jackson moves over, he can move over or he can cut through and go opposite. But by making that move, he'll force the defense to make a decision.
Here's the double on Finley. Now Finley shooting over Williamson. So Dallas has opened up 1 of 6 in this third quarter.
It's okay. Once they get tired, you'll start playing better. We heard Don Nelson tell him, calm down. You get tired, you've been playing better.
Jackson, it counts, and the foul. Again, going to the teardrop, this time high off glass, and he's headed to the line.
What do you call the teardrop that hits glass, kisses in? Is there a special call for that one?
Teardrop that hits glass and kisses in.
Teardrop kiss.
The shot that he mastered in the schoolyards in Queens, New York. And Mark Jackson has come out firing in the absence of Vince Carter, taking a lot of shots tonight.
I think Mark Jackson's a little disappointed in his first half. Only 2 for 6 on the floor, forced up a couple shots. He had 3 turnovers. Looking to give a better 24 minutes to Toronto this half.
Mark 9 points, 6 assists. Comes off a triple-double in the win over Chicago on Sunday. And the Raptors have recaptured the lead up by 1. Here's Finley. Finley with a second chance.
The ball bounced long over the top of the heads of both Charles Oakley and Antonio Davis. Dirk started to run out rather than secure and go after the ball. Second shot opportunity. Finley buries it.
Mavericks lead by 1. Pass off the mark, thrown by Oakley. Nash. Nowitzki for 3. Dirk Nowitzki, 2 of 7 from downtown. He's a 40% shooter from three-point land. So the Mavericks take a 60-56 lead. The Raptors back onto the floor. Dallas up by 4. There's Dirk Nowitzki, just hit the 3. Dirk Nowitzki grew up in Würzburg, Germany. Played for the German national team. He's only 22 years old. And as we touched on earlier, after struggling in his rookie season, came on last year, averaged better than 17 a game, finished second to Jalen Rose of the Pacers in the NBA's most improved player balloting, and has added to that this season. Sean Bradley with the rebound. Bradley coming on for Leitner. Here's Nowitzki for 3. And rebounded by Williamson.
I mentioned that Dallas is averaging about 16 3-pointers per game. Well, the last 3 games, that's been up a little bit over 18 per game. They're making them, they feel good about it.
Wallace Williamson is called for the push. Shoving Dirk Nowitzki. And that's 3 on Williamson. The Dallas Mavericks, 9-5. They've won 4 of their last 5. The good start actually began in preseason. They won 6-2, the best preseason record in the history of the franchise. Finley, yes. Michael Finley has 24. The Mavs up by 6.
Toronto, up to this point, has made the decision they're going to switch that pick and roll with Finley and Nowitzki. We'll see if Lenny Wilkins makes a change, makes an adjustment, or stays with it.
Oakley for 3. Davis leaning in for the rebound. Oakley passing on the 3 on 2 occasions. And Wallace Williamson able to hit. Good decisions by Charles Oakley rather than force it. Here's Nash. Oh, what a move. He actually had the dribble stopped, was able to recover, and then hit on a fadeaway in traffic.
You must get your big people back to help on a point guard that pushes it up that quickly to stop those seams from showing up. Nash comes right back at you. He's tough to guard, but he's going full speed.
And a travel called on Antonio Davis. Discussing it with the official, Bill Spooner.
In the post, Spooner says that he's going to move his pivot foot. Left foot's pivot foot. There, he drags it. Good call by the official.
Dallas with the ball up by 6. That was turnover number 11 committed by the Raptors. Mavs with only 2. Gilbert Davis looking for the pick. Now Davis takes to the basket and hits. Nice move by Gilbert Davis. Second time he's done it on the drive.
You mentioned the turnovers. Remember, Toronto, because of Mark Jackson primarily and the way he protects the basketball and his high assist-to-turnover ratio, they're second best in the league at protecting the basketball. Just over 14 turnovers a game normally.
Jackson challenging Bradley. 11 points for Mark Jackson. 66-60 Mavericks. Nowitzki. Oakley with a good play, getting a piece of it. It will be Dallas in possession, but first a timeout taken by Dallas.
Jazz with a 2-point lead. Nets fans coming to their feet. Stockton with Marbury, 12 on the timer. Malone off a double. Stockton with 9. It's Malone again. Fires it inside. Layup. Danny Manning gets the roll. It's a 2-possession game, and Scott wants a timeout.
From 15 feet or so after the penetration has brought the defense into the middle of the floor.
Utah 92, Nets 88. Marbury will toss it in. Marbury, Gill, Newman, Williams, and Martin, the team that Byron Scott has gone with throughout the fourth quarter. Marbury, 3-ball straight away, no good. And Manning the rebound. With 33 seconds left, Nets have to foul. It's a 4-point game. And Marbury allows Stockton to take it across. Nets are not fouling, they're backing off. There's an 11-second difference. Stockton spins with 9. Now they're looking to foul, which makes no sense. They've wasted 18.
Becomes a free agent for the first time in his career. He has been playing much better. Might be a little bit more extra motivation on the line for Bradley. It was broken up by Bradley, and last touch by the Raptors. Don Nelson telling us earlier he likes Bradley coming off the bench. He feels he's more effective as a shot blocker, particularly against other teams' second unit.
Usually your second unit doesn't have the same type of low post scorers or big men that the first starting group does. So when you put him out there, he can change, block shots, and help start transition opportunities for Dallas because of his defensive presence.
Jackson with a beautiful pass. Williamson not able to hit. Nash getting it over to Finley. And Davis for 3. Antonio Davis fouled by Sean Bradley, and they have some words. Sean Bradley over the years has been involved in a number of incidents.
A number of players are a little unhappy with his elbows finding their way into people's faces. It seems to bother a few guys. Look, he's big, and his elbow comes up to the level of a lot of players where they're in their faces. So according to Sean, it's all an accident. Doesn't mean it intentionally. There are several points of view. Players take exception to that.
69-62. Dallas with the lead. Raptors in possession. Got clock at 4. Williamson on the recovery, fires.
A shot of defense that time by Dallas. They made good decisions on who to go get, who to double team, and when.
Nice look. Finley, but Vaughn blows it. Beautiful pass from Finley. Jackson, yes. Mark Jackson has been an offensive force here tonight. He has 13 points. Mavericks up by 5.
Almost as a handoff there.
Oakley breaking up the backdoor pass.
He's so big, he caught it at the elbow. They were posting up at the box. He almost just handed the ball down to the low post man.
Jackson backing on Davis, going glass. And knocked out of bounds by Williamson of Toronto. It'll be Dallas ball, timeout taken, 2:10.
Off the glass for a 2-point lead. Right now they lead by 4. And now it's back to 2 with 29 seconds to play. Let us get back to Dallas and Marv Albert.
Thank you, Ernie. Czar, I'd be very, very upset.
I was just
a little, he killed you. Without even mentioning your name, which is very skillful.
And you jumped right on. Then you just jumped right on that, huh? Kind of like that, don't you?
That was terrific. Just under 2 to go in the third quarter. 69-64 Mavericks. Here's Nash. Good hustle by Oakley. Alvin Williams Back on the floor for Toronto. He and Mark Jackson in the backcourt. Charles Oakley, Antonio Davis, Corliss Williamson up front.
One of the reporters asked Charles Oakley about Jumper's knee. He said, how would I know? I hope it's on.
Referring to the injury suffered by Vince Carter. Vince sitting it out. Here's Howard Isley had just checked in. Oh, Bradley tried the one-hand stuff off the rebound. It did not work. And a foul is called. We're talking with Del Harris, one of the 35 assistant coaches under Don Nelson. Actually, Del handles the defense. There's Del, one-time head coach of the Lakers and the Bucks, longtime associate of Don Nelson. We asked him about the absence of Vince Carter, and he said, geez, defensively, we had it all figured out.
Yeah, right.
So sorry he's not here.
Yeah. Believe me, he's smiling inside that Vince isn't here tonight. Also, it sounds like he's a financial advisor to Don Nelson.
Yes, he was talking about some of the recommendations he's made. Del Harris will actually be coaching the Mavericks Thursday when Dallas will play at Portland. Don Nelson will leave the team for a couple of days, take a biopsy for a swollen prostate, so he will miss the game Thursday in Portland as Bradley is fouled. Foul committed by Oakley. That's his third. Sean Bradley to the free throw line, a 76% foul shooter. Sean in his 8th year out of Brigham Young. Reminder this Sunday on the Superstation. A Soviet submarine commander attempts to defect by setting the course of the Red October straight into American waters. Sean Connery stars in the hunt for Red October. That's this Sunday, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Coming up on 1 minute left in the third. Williamson got the step. Oakley with the catch and draws the foul. Foul on Bradley. That is his fourth.
And that's another reason why Don Nelson said he prefers to bring him off the bench right now. When he starts the game, he has a tendency to get quick foul trouble, early foul trouble. Nelson then has to sit him down. So by coming off the bench, it buys a few minutes and hopefully has him for the end of the game when he may need him to protect the basket.
It's been a solid night for Charles Oakley. 7 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. That's a very impressive stat line. Here's the rookie Morris Peterson. Been quiet tonight, has not received the playing time. Coming off a career-high 18 points in the win over the Bulls on Sunday. Dirk Nowitzki is back. We were talking a moment ago about the improvement. Bradley sits down. Dirk Nowitzki's game. And you have to credit another one of the Mavericks assistant coaches, Kiki Vandeweghe, who has been working with Dirk, particularly on that first step. Kiki was so effective in his playing game.
Well, it comes down to footwork, and there's Kiki Vandeweghe behind Don Nelson. It comes down to footwork, and nobody better to teach footwork, and a disciple of Pete Newell in that summer camp that he ran for years and years and years. Kiki, one of his master instructors there. And we're talking about, you know, catching, facing up, the elongated first step to go by the defender.
Vaught not able to convert on the rebound. So the Raptors are within 3 with a half minute left in this third quarter. Nowitzki off the boards. Here comes Nash. 25 seconds left in the third. Here's Nowitzki. Did not have the room. Passed it up.
Can you see Alvin Williams jumping out over the top of the screen to get to the three-point shooter?
4-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Isley to the crossover. Oh, nicely done by Howard Isley. 7 7/10 seconds to go in the third. Williams with the clock running down, accelerates, and is blocked and fouled. No, offensive foul.
That's a good call right there. As a defensive player came over to reject that thing to protect the ball. Alvin Williams puts the left arm out to try and hold him off. He goes past or tries to go through. Left arm right there in the face of Lloyd Ward, who was blocking the shot. Offensive foul.
And with 0.2 of a second remaining, Mavericks just inbound. Time has run out in the third. After 3 in Dallas, it's the Mavericks 73. The Raptors 68. Back with the fourth quarter after these words.
Points actually came in the first 6 minutes of the game, so they haven't done anything in transition after that. If you look at free throws, we have a plus 13 on attempts for Toronto, but 12 zip for Dallas as far as points off of turnovers.
The best work you've done on the telestrator throughout the evening.
I wonder if Ernie appreciated that.
I don't think Ernie was paying attention. Fourth quarter is underway. This is Peterson, the rookie from Michigan State. Morris Peterson with his first field goal.
He's one of those guys that you pick up the stat sheet at the end of the night and you say, well, he got a couple baskets, and like he did against Chicago, he was up with 18 points all of a sudden. Coach looks at the sheet and I didn't realize he had that many.
Bad sign for Dallas. Bombing violation called on Nash. The Mavericks 1 of 10 from the field over the last 5 minutes and 40 seconds of the third quarter, yet they still have the 5-point lead after 3. Alvin Williams, Mark Jackson at the guards, Antonio Davis, Charles Oakley, and Morris Peterson up front. Jackson try to save it. It'll be Dallas ball.
Yeah, credit Steve Nash for forcing that turnover. He had great pressure on the ball on Alvin Williams, so it was a bad pass by Williams trying to post up Mark Jackson. Never got to it.
Nash pops it back. Don Nelson going small with Nash, Isley, and Davis, along with Nowitzki and Vaught. Shot clock at 3. The defense is tightened up. Hubert Davis draws the foul. Raptors wanted to travel.
Well, as Hubert Davis got close to the basket, Toronto fears that he shuffled those feet, and I think they may have a correct call right there. On the reverse pullback dribble, his feet down low. He sees the big man coming, planted, shuffle. It's either got to be a foul right away, or yes, he did travel.
Foul on Peterson. Davis always an excellent free throw shooter up until that particular shot. 83% from the line this season.
Remember, we said that we wanted to attract Steve Nash and his points. If he got 15 or above, it usually was a good night for the Dallas team. Well, he's at 15 right now, above his season average. And then field goal shooting for Dallas. They're shooting 44 for the season. They've had their hot streak during this game. So both of those things point to a Dallas win if you base it on our stat track.
So the sum up is that tells us what?
Tells us that we will come back to the stat track at the end of the game.
You will try to justify it later. Foul on Davis. Hubert Davis.
He was like, you got a little chuckle out of the stat track.
Waiting for a conclusive statement. 74-70. Mavericks with the lead. Looking for their 10th win. They're 9-5. They've won 4 of the last 5. Toronto at 8-5. They've won 3 in a row. Raptors opened up the season 0-3. Then they won 4 straight. They dropped to 5-5, including the bad loss to the Hornets. And now they've won 3 straight. Oakley from downtown. And Peterson keeps it alive. So they get the new 24. Antonio Davis, followed by Lloyd Vaught. Here's Jackson. And Nowitzki in traffic holds on. Finley for Isley. Not looking to force it. Here's Finley. Oh, nice play by Oakley. Williams. Loose ball foul, says the outside official, Joe Forte. And it's on the Raptors. It is on Peterson. That is his second. Del Curry checks back in. Mark Jackson and Charles Oakley sit down. Kevin Willis is also back for the Raptors. We have not seen one of Don Nelson's true hybrid lineups where he likes to go 4 small and 1 big man. He's going with the 3 guards.
I thought you were going to mention that we have not seen one of his fish ties that he used to
know. That too. And Finley gets the roll. 26 for Michael Finley. Dallas 76, Toronto 70. Marv Albert with the czar, Mike Fratello, and Cheryl Miller from Reunion Arena in Dallas. First of a doubleheader on TBS. The Pacers and the Lakers coming up next. Peterson finding the touch.
You saw Don Nelson that time react and talk to Finley about get up, get on him, don't give him a look because he's a scorer. He's going to try to get it going.
He averaged just under 17 for the NCAA champion Michigan State Spartans last year.
Everybody stopped play for a second. They heard the buzzer go off from either the 24-second clock or the scorer's table.
Don Nelson walking over to the scorer's table to find out, what happened. You get the official timeout.
I think the timer was putting a coffee down and put it on the buzzer by mistake.
That's the official, Bill Spooner. Don Nelson and his son, Don D-O-double-N Nelson. There he is. Apparently an inadvertent horn.
Come on, AD.
So they will resume with 12 on the shot clock. 8:51 remaining in the 4th quarter, and a 4-point Maverick lead. Foul is called. And it's a 2-shot foul. The ball has not been thrown in.
Ball still out of bounds, had not been released by the passer. The foul took place, so as a result, he shoots 2.
That's 3 on the rookie Peterson.
Under 4 seconds to go, Sam Cassell for 3. Nothing but the twine, and they've got the lead by 1. Game's not over. Guys are running on the floor like it is over. Tim Hardaway won't go. Miami Heat up by 20 after 3. Lose by 1 at home to the Bucks. Could be a breakthrough win for Milwaukee, a win they really needed. 102 to 101. Let's get back to Dallas to Cheryl Miller and company.
Oh, you must have done something wrong.
I have no problem.
Well,
you get crazy.
Cheryl's taking over the show. That's it.
We will not hear from Cheryl anymore this evening, as you pointed out. 77-72 as Hubert Davis is at the free throw line following the 2-shot foul called. Ball had not been put into play, and the Mavericks now lead by 6. Raptors have only 2 timeouts remaining. Dallas with 3 and a 20 with 8:45 left in the 4th. Here's Peterson to the left hand. Steps the line. Davis. Yes. 78-74. The Raptors hanging around, playing without Vince Carter, back home in Toronto with that strained left quad suffered in the first quarter on Sunday against the Bulls, missing a game for the first time in his career. Had not missed a game in high school, in college, or in the NBA. What a stroke by Finley, who now has 28 points.
It just looks good, doesn't it, coming out of his hand? He's really confident shooting the basketball. Turns, faces up.
Finley is 14 of 24. Mavericks up 80-74.
Pressure!
Curry using the pick. Here's Curry. Well, Curry still searching. He's 3 of 11 from the floor. Isley met on the switch. Now they double up on Finley. Looking for the open man. There it is. Bought. Yes, and it counts.
That time, Toronto elected to go double-team the isolation right away. They thought it was a mismatch, so they ran the man from the top immediately over to Finley. Watch this player go double-team the ball when Finley catches it. That starts everybody rotating. Kevin Willis is under the basket opposite. Kevin Willis runs out too early before the ball gets there. There's the man wide open under the basket. They find him. Willis can't get back. On rotation, sometimes coaches want you to pre-rotate, go early. Other times you tell them don't leave till the ball is passed. The players will ball fake and then fire underneath if you leave too early.
Now this opens up a 9-point lead. It's their biggest of the night. And the Mavericks now will be shooting the penalty the rest of the way. Oh, nice play. Peterson for Davis. 83-76.
Toronto needs a couple stops right now so they can maybe get an easy basket in transition to get themselves right back in this thing. They're only 7 down with 7 minutes remaining.
Again, the good ball movement. Nowitzki for 3. Dirk. Nowitzki has 13.
The result of a double team. You get a double team, you swing the ball quickly, the defense can't recover in time, and if you got guys that make shots, you see what happens.
That's his 3rd 3 of the night. Timeout taken. It's Dallas by 10. 45%. Just hit his 3rd 3 of the night. And the Mavericks have opened up a 10-point lead. Peterson with a beautiful play. Morris Peterson has been the offense in this 4th quarter for the Raptors. He now has 6 points, all coming in the 4th. 6:20 to go. In this 4th quarter, Toronto has only 1 timeout remaining. And as Finley sets up, illegal defense called. That's the 2nd violation on Toronto, so it will lead to a technical foul.
I think it was called on Morris Peterson. He immediately went over to Corliss Williamson and asked, where am I allowed to stand now, trying to clear up those defensive guidelines. You see him talking over there to Coach Wilkins because, you know, rookie players, you know, quite certain why it's called against him. Talk to the official about it right now.
This is the first of our TBS doubleheader. Coming up next, Indiana Pacers and the Los Angeles Lakers from the Staples Center. Lakers trying to make it 5 straight wins. 2 teams that met in the NBA Finals last season, although the Pacers have a slightly different look from a year ago.
Nice job by Peterson, keeping Finley in front of him, making Finley shoot a tough shot, falling away from the basket.
And we heard the guys in the studio at halftime discussing Jermaine O'Neal sit out tonight, suspended. Due to lateness, a very small lineup will be on the floor for Indiana as Kevin Willis able to hit 87-80. 7-point Dallas lead. Nash able to get it back. Nowitzki for 3. Yes! His 4th from 3-point land.
I'm not quite sure they believe that he's going to make them.
4 of 10 from downtown. Peterson rebounded by Davis. Fires it up. Trying to get it over Bradley. Williamson challenges Bradley. It's tipped home by Willis.
Well, Bradley went to challenge the follow-up shot. It left Kevin Willis really unguarded, so he tips in the offensive rebound.
8-point Dallas lead. Finley with room. Rare miss for Michael Finley. Willis. The Raptors very much in this ball game. It appeared that Dallas was about to break it open. It's down to a 6-point lead.
It's a big game for both of these teams. For Dallas, they want to be 10-5 at the end of the night. They have 6 of the next 8 on the road. For Toronto, 4 of the next 5 on the road. Tomorrow night at Charlotte as Nash kisses it off the glass. Tomorrow night at Charlotte. Then they go home against the Clippers, but then back at Utah, at Portland, at Golden State. So both teams have reasons why this is a big game this early in the season.
And Vince Carter will definitely be sitting out in Charlotte tomorrow night. You know, he'd love to play in Charlotte back in North Carolina. Hubert Davis went down. He's hurt. Here's Peterson for 3. Bradley gets to it. And Dallas takes a timeout. Hubert Davis in pain.
There was a wet spot on the floor, and as Hubert Davis went to get in his stance, you saw the sneakers just slide, his legs spread apart, probably some type of pull in the groin area. Right as he's digging in defensively, you see his foot hits a wet spot. There it slips out underneath him. He stays down.
Hubert Davis having a very strong season for the Mavericks, averaging 10 points per game. Worked his way into the starting lineup. Tonight his 5th start of the year. Last year led the NBA in three-point accuracy at 49%. We're checking out Hubert. Timeout has been called. We'll take a break with 3:56 to go in the fourth. On the floor, went down, is being held back to the Mavericks locker room. We're just under 4 remaining in this fourth quarter. We'll have a report on Hubert in a moment. A 92-84 lead for Dallas. I would like to make a correction. The czar passing on erroneous information to me, and I'm going to just pass it right on. Jermaine O'Neal was not suspended. He just will not be in the starting lineup for tonight's game against the Lakers because he was late for the plane.
Missed the team plane. Had to fly out commercially. So it sounded to me like you took it upon yourself to suspend him.
I suspended him. But enough of this.
It's powerful.
Right. But he will be coming off the bench tonight. Steve Nash setting up on Mark Jackson, and then the pass picked off by Morris Peterson. Jackson. Willis. Now Peterson. Challenging and stripped by Nowitzki. Here's Nash. Able to chase it down. Backs to three-point territory. Oh, Finley missed on the tip. Williamson on the pull-up. Wallace Williamson over Sean Bradley. And the Raptors are within 6.
That's one of the few in-between shots, meaning middle-range shots that Toronto has hit in transition, and one of the few fast-break baskets that they've had.
19 for Williamson. Here's Nash able to penetrate. Nowitzki for 3. Oh, he nearly had a 4-point opportunity. He was fouled. He'll go to the line to shoot 3. And the foul is called on Antonio Davis, who went running at Dirk Nowitzki.
Bring all the defenders to the middle as Nash does, and then kick it out to your three-point shooters. Davis challenging late. Pretty good job of acting right there. I doubt if touching him on the top of his hand, that leg could have knocked him down that hard.
Nowitzki an 82% free-throw shooter.
And also smiling while he's laying on the ground there was Nowitzki. He knew he did a pretty good job that time.
And we're told that Hubert Davis has suffered a strained left groin and will not return. Dallas taking advantage by going to the line in this fourth quarter. 8 of 9 at the line. Raptors have not gone to the foul line here in the fourth. Williamson, and he draws the foul with 2:34 left in the fourth quarter. Nowitzki picks it up. That's his 3rd.
If you're Toronto right now, that's exactly what you want. You get a chance to put points on the board with the clock stopped.
Only the 2nd team foul on Dallas. Corliss Williamson, 68% free throw shooter. 1 of 2 tonight. So Williamson has 20. Very strong game. 1 shy of his season high. Pacers and Lakers coming up next. 2nd of our double-selling authors here on TBS. Don Nelson setting up the offense. Michael Finley on the ball. Finley the high man with 28. Looking for Bradley. Sets the screen. Here's Finley to the rim. Sensational game for the 6-year veteran from Wisconsin, Michael Finley.
Well, his ability to not only shoot the ball facing up, but then to put it on the floor in a one-on-one situation, or that time in a two-man game, pick and roll.
Williamson stripped and foul in the act. Nowitzki.
Mark, you mentioned obviously Vince Carter being out tonight. Another key piece, one of those veteran guys for Toronto, is Muggsy Bogues, who had knee surgery. He's about 4 weeks away from coming back, and he's a key part to this team because he pushes the ball, he gets them in transition, he opens up shots for his teammates. He's a guy to come in behind Mark Jackson. Right now, they're just relying on Jackson and Alvin Williams. He gives you that third guard or second backup point guard, depending on how you want to look at it, to play. So Lenny Wilkens not only missing his star in Vince Carter, but a very important piece to the team in Muggsy Bogues.
And Dallas looking for the return of Gary Trent. Played only 11 games last season now with a muscle strain. Now might be back in about 3 weeks, which will make this a deeper ball club.
Trent is not a great rebounder. He's maybe 7 rebounds a night, 8 rebounds, but he's a low post presence, which is something that they need.
Bradley, and the foul is called as Bradley hits the floor. Foul on Williamson. A good look from Finley to set it up with 1:39 remaining in this fourth quarter. 97-89, Dallas.
2 important free throws right here for Dallas. He makes both of these. It gives him a 10-point edge with 1:39 remaining.
Sean Bradley, a 76% free throw shooter. 99-89. Mavericks got off to the poor start, missed their first 9 shots. Raptors were up 8-zip. Came back in the second, had a good third. Here's Jackson for 3. And a loose ball foul on the Mavericks. So both teams are now over the foul limit.
When you're down 10 points underneath 2 minutes, you need some guys to spot up and make a couple threes. Well, Vince Carter, who's the leading three-point shooter for Toronto, he's taken 60 attempts, which is the most, and he shoots almost 42% from the three-point line. So he has terrific range, and he makes them in that area. Another big spot, that they're missing right now as they come down the stretch here.
Peterson is 79% free throw shooter. 99-91. Dallas 125 remaining in the fourth. Mavericks looking to hold on to make it 5 wins the last 6 games. A record of 10-5. It's their best start since back in the 1988-89 season, where they opened up at 9-3.
They're just running the clock down, use up as much time as possible, and then try to get a shot off with the shot clock at 2:01.
And Finley drills it. Michael Finley, 16 of 29. He has 32 points. Jackson, Nowitzki able to come away with it. It's a season high for Finley.
Well, Mark Jackson went in there with the intention of trying to draw somebody else on a double team and then to kick back out, but because they knew that they were up 10 points, everybody on the perimeter stayed at home. A 2 doesn't hurt you as much as a 3.
Oh, man, able to cap it off. Fans on their feet, standing ovation for the Mavericks. Here's Peterson challenging Bradley. 103-93, and we're down to a half minute remaining in the fourth. The Mavericks very much back here in Dallas. It's been a long drought period. This team will go to 10-5. Nash for Bradley. Bradley on the follow. It counts, and the foul. With 11 seconds to go. The Dallas Mavericks, who have not made the playoffs in 10 years. They've had some rough times. They were showing some signs last year when they won 40 and lost 42. Finished very strong. Michael Finley. Here's it from the crowd. 32 points, season high, 16 of 29 from the field, along with 5 rebounds, 3 assists.
He is an outstanding player, and Don Nelson puts him in situations to take advantage of him, whether it's against big guards or small forwards, and he produces.
Is this a punishment timeout called by Lenny Wilkins with 10 and 5/10 seconds remaining? It's their final timeout.
We'll find out.
The Pacers and the Lakers before the game. Look at this. Moments ago, Danny Ainge talking to Tiger Woods, trying to help Tiger work through some mechanical flaws in his golf swing, obviously. Let you know how that comes out. What a pleasure it is, as always, to share the airwaves tonight with Marv Albert and Mike Puerto. You guys are the best. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Ernie. 10 and 5/10 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter, and Dallas with a 105-93 lead. Raptors taking that timeout, their final timeout, perhaps a clinical timeout. Foul is called with 3 and 2/10 seconds to go. Crowd booing when Lenny Wilkins took that last timeout, and booing on this foul called on Kevin Willis. So Steve Nash tripled off.
You can see Lenny shaking his head. He did not want them to take that foul. He wanted to just let the clock run out, let the game be over with. But sometimes those things happen.
Steve Nash had the good run after missing his first 3 shots. It's 6 in a row. He now has 20 points. Michael Finley leading the way with 32. Dirk Nowitzki doing it from downtown. He had 19. So the Dallas Mavericks have defeated the Toronto Raptors. Final score 107-93. The Mavericks go to 10 and 5. They have won 5 of their last 6. Raptors playing without Vince Carter, second leading scorer of the NBA behind
Lou Diamond's music.